We have seen, like you talked about HDFC, whatever level you have got, you would have compounded. How important is price and the longer term vision or identifying the right company which could compound?
However, very interestingly, if you bought some of these great companies, as HDFC as an example, barring extremes, which may only happen once in 10 years, the maths just worked out over long periods. So whether you paid X or even 1.5x or 0.7x, after 10-15 years, the math may not make that much difference. But of course, Buffett is a master at buying when prices are low. But sustainable companies, actually Munger evolved the concept of Ben Graham, which was to buy at low prices. And you can buy great companies at even fair or slightly below fair prices and do well.
Short correction, like Berkshire itself has come down 3 times by 50%. I think HDFC also has come down by 40 to 50% 3 times in the last 35 years. Now, most companies do give you. The question is, do you have the patience to sit? So first, you have to have a whole list of companies which you are comfortable with, and second, have the patience to wait for one of them to come into your buying zone. I think that is very important. And what hurts in the price is that if by any chance you buy something at an extreme level, you see in 92, most of the cement stocks starting with ACC, the prices were stopped despite performance. Similarly, in 2000, that happened with IT companies. Whether it was Wipro, Infosys, they continue to grow in the next 7-8 years. The reality is that when the next check has to be written, it does get impacted. So that I think is definitely crucial.
Now this is Mr. Bangur, MD of Shree Cement. He met Buffett, I think, around 2005, and Durgesh's team picked this up. And in the next annual report, he said, I met Buffett, and here are the 10 or 12 things I learned, and this is what I'm doing about it. And his company, for many reasons, but very importantly, this one did very well in the next few years. You just go over it. I'm going to just keep going every 1 or 2 seconds. You will get this in the PowerPoint. So, owner orientation, maximize shareholder value. Principle 4, accounting, it should reflect economic performance to the extent, so we don't have time to go into all this. Good capital, conservative debt structure. So he basically went from a capital intensive company to one in a profit mode, more focusing on profits. You can just flip through it quickly now. This is to give you some idea. Last one. Last one is the chart of the pricing, I think. Yeah. Oops, nahi hai. Okay. Okay. Anyway, there was a chart on how the price is done, and I think somehow I left it out. But
the stock has gone crazy after this. This was 2006 or 2007, and the stock is up 100 times after that.
Okay. Can you give us some personal
Munger says that most people talk our talk but not walk our walk. So I am one of them. I read everything. He is saying, but having said that, I think if you stay with very good companies, the difficulty is that when there is a great company, you know it is a great company or a great management after everything is out. But if you try to look at good promoters and companies that are doing badly, I think that is what helps a lot. And I would think that if you can just do that, things do work out. And more so in India than there, because we have fewer of those companies.
Would you get tested by a
lifetime? Now that itself is something that I can't think of. 20 decisions in a lifetime. So if you just agree to do that, half your problem is sorted out. But it's not easy.
And the other thing is, from the lease, you leave it in cash or do you make some mistake? And you will find after 10 years, your return may be single digits if you're lucky. So the magic of compounding is really amazing over long periods. In fact, Puranik here sitting, He came to one of Buffett's meeting and he explained to me better than anybody else about the concept of compounding in so many dimensions, like not just investing. Works in, if you leave a job, you join another company, you have to restart everything, your home life, everything. So, very powerful concept.
Can you hear?
Yeah.
The point I was saying is, coming back to what you do, when you make an investment, so you make a significant gain. So those gains have to be, you are trying to trade and evolve into being an investor. So there is always a beginner's luck. And in every stock investing or any business about humility. So there is always I have a philosophy, there is a powerful one in the total 100. So there is a 99 plus 1. So that 99% is the effort and that 1% is the luck. That 1% will come only when you put 99%. So this is very, very powerful, but you have to put that 99%. So it's very important to keep doing that on a regular basis. So what happens with the traders is, for them it is 1% effort, 99% luck. So sometimes it happens, they think that keep happening on a regular basis. So even as an investor, like the situation he mentioned, I have made 10 times, 20 times. So what do I do with that money? So that's why I kept saying that the greatest risk of investing is reinvesting. Because a compounding takes years. Compounding is a character. Compounding is a commitment. Compounding is competency, its capability to invest and reinvest. Whether it is in a profession or in your married life or in your relationship or in network, everywhere the compounding looks beautiful. So it is over years is what make you get those big returns. See, in that process, what happens? When you have made big gains, the biggest responsibility is to protect those gains. So protecting those gains is a function of understanding your own current investment very well. So when you make a decision to sell this, you should have the ability to hold that in cash for a long period of time. So till you get another opportunity. Because the next opportunity takes a lot of effort to discover. So it doesn't happen just that way. Someone came and told you that, hey, Balaji, acha lagta hai, understand that. But you have no patience. Because the problem is, you focus on the circuit filter. 10% ho gaya, 15% ho gaya. Your blood pressure goes with the circuit filter. And then the greed factor. So every day 10%, 20%, you leave everything and you buy at that price. Because your problem, we are in the quest to understand value on a constant basis. As a life is about that. Whether as an investor, as a professional, as a manager, we try to understand value is a journey, continuous journey. If you are in that value journey, price is everybody try to understand price. Then you will be able to some extent understand price. But focus on understanding value continuously. The values created by you, created by outsiders. And so many ways the values get created. But your ability to know that, constantly keep doing that, that's what takes you to the compounding journey. Because there are not many companies who go through the compounding journey in such great detail. Because it's a character, it's a habit, it's a series of action that you develop. And keep doing that day in and day, and believe in that. And the result in most cases won't come yesterday. It takes a lot of time. That's why your patience gets tested. When a stock which you love the most, correct 10%, 20% for week after week, what do you do? You get shaken. So that's where the character matters a lot. That's where your ability to understand the risk matters a lot. So why we talk about these guys, they are great inspiration in doing all this stuff. They stay with their investment. They don't border on greed. They're ambitious, but they're not greedy. So that's a simple essence of what we learned.
Thank you so much. See the depth and the color he's given is very amazing. Okay, we'll now go to
Before we move on,
yeah, please.
So the next
By accident, there was some accident.
next accident.
Stocks are it is serious business. Serious business.
Bring in much more than
the fundamental justify, because ultimately we all are bound to, let's say, FY 17 earning, 18 earning, or 2 years or 3 years hence. To cite an example, probably let's say Page Industries. So you may have bought the stock at $400. It went probably 4 or 5x within a few matter of months. So whether one could have sold that stock at 5x, considering that it is running ahead of fundamentals, but it became a multi bagger even after that. Same for probably Blue Dart. So how do you decide what is the right price, when to churn or when to book your profits and probably invest in some other decent stock?
Yeah, it's a very good. Hathway has given from 65 and 50 years a 21% CAGR. That is not 40 or 50. That's 100 and something like 186,000 times. Now the S&P 500 has given about 10%. And the compounding becomes something like 118 times. So at least till 2000, if you short Berkshire anywhere, you would have regretted. But as far as other stocks are concerned, if it is not that golden thing you can predict and be confident, I don't think there is a right answer, and markets always surprise. Yogesh, maybe you can also comment.
He probably knows the mistakes I've made, so that's why he's asking me. I sold Madras Cement in 1992 at 6,600. I bought it at 1,000 rupees and I made some money, and I thought it was smart. In those days, there was physical settlement, so the money came in maybe 6 weeks, 7 weeks later. When the money came in, the stock was 20,000. Now, I have done that again. In 2012, after holding Motherson Sumi for 20 years, I sold it. And after I sold it, in 3 years, it's up 5%. So effectively, I've lost 80% of what I should have made if I had hung on. So I don't think I have an answer. I don't think I'm going to do it right again the next time. But if you think of it, Vinod Sethi bought between 5 and 15%, and I'm talking about way back in 1989 to 1993 periods. He bought between 5 and 15% of Infosys, Hero Honda, HDFC, Concor, Z, a lot of those companies. Now, if you had put personally that kind of money, the kind of dividend they would have given you, you would have enough money to reinvest. You wouldn't have to bother about churning. But it's not easy. I mean, let's face it that when something moves like that, it's not easy. So I don't think I have an answer, and I don't think it's easy. But the difficulty is that to find the good stock. It's not the problem to deal with after that.
Inculcate psychology or behavioral science into the fundamental work.
A very simple thing is that you had Diwali last week, and everywhere there was a discount sale, whether it's Flipkart or Snapdeal or everything. And whenever you see 50% sale in big bazaars, you see a big queue there. When it happens to our market, people run away. People pass, because at the end of the day, there are cycles. And you have everything moving in cycles. And if you have the ability to see things and the difference between value and price, you will be able to do it in time.
So there, the value and price. When you see a big bazaar sale, 100 rupees is being sold at 50. 50% discount tells you there is a price discount. So you discover the value. What is visible value, but you don't know what is inside the packet. So when you only buy that, you realize. Same thing is what is required to be done when you invest. When the markets are down, we are all cold. We have no mood. We are down with everything. But that's the time when if you understand value, you enjoy buying in that market. So that's what's very important. So our journey is to be on the quest for understanding value. Whether you invest, understand value, then the price, then it's not very difficult to understand price.
I will also cover some ecological and other aspects. And my daughter, by the way, also materially contributed in preparing this. She's in the US, so couldn't join. I've presented at various different conferences, okay, the first slide I have, you'll find it's a pretty comprehensive, probably cover a lot of the questions you may have now, is basically you don't want to hurt another 5 cents being. They feel as much pain and fear as you. In fact, that was the reason for Gandhi. He gave a speech in England in 1931. He said they're vegetarians who eat too much cheese. They only talk about health, but they're not as healthy. So we are spiritual beings. We should just focus on that. And here is Rabindranath Tagore. At the age of 31, he became vegetarian, and as a Nobel Prize winner in literature, he uses some very nice words, which is that we can justify it in sophisticated language, but if you go to your heart, it doesn't feel right, and we throttle what's good in us. So it's a very nice quote. I've abbreviated it here. Many of the greatest thinkers in history, Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein, and many others, you'll hear, at least they were either vegetarians or had very sympathetic thinking towards that aspect. Leonardo da Vinci, 500 years back, used to buy caged birds from his own money and set them free. And I think that many people argue that, that should be a personal choice, and there's a color red or blue. It's like somebody told Gandhiji, let the British do what they want and let us do what they want. There's a third life involved. Now, there are some customs in India, this is what I'm trying to bring out. We do have that inherent, if you will, moral feeling we should be doing this. Like in North India, they don't have meat and alcohol on Tuesdays. In fact, there's this joke I came across. There was these missionaries who met some cannibals. And after a lot of negotiations, they reached a settlement. No children on Fridays. Okay. Now, while the health may be more directly relevant to you, there are some aspects which a lot of people aren't fully aware of. Einstein felt that vegetarianism is linked to compassion and peace. And by the way, Einstein, towards the last year of his life, it seemed he became vegetarian based on some data, but there is no conclusive proof. But he always was uncomfortable, at least till that time. And the other reason I picked Einstein is he passed away exactly 2 years before I was born, and it takes 2 years for a soul to find a new body. Now Einstein is uniquely qualified to bring the concepts of time and space. We think we are disconnected and different, but we are all connected. And he felt there was a deep harmony in the universe. His equation E is equal to mc square is so elegant and beautiful. He appreciated Mozart music. He said there is harmony already in the universe, and Mozart just bringing it out. So